Welcome, welcome. It's a beautiful Monday here in Southern California. KHTS 1220 AM here with, his name is Greg Herrick, but he's the coach, one of the most famous coaches in all of California. Welcome on a Monday here, Coach. How are you, bud?
I'm great. It's a great day. It's basketball, the Final Four.
That's great for you, but I'm sad. And let me get Kyle Jellings in here. Kyle is the third authority on the show called The Coach's Corner every Monday at 1 p.m. And if you want to call in, 298-5487, 298-5487. So we're going to do a little round ball, little basketball talk because March Madness, and I think the whole thing is mad. I mean, how does Duke get beat by South Carolina?
South Carolina from the
That's
SEC.
That's a football school. Come on, Coach.
Well, I made this notation about how many teams in the tournament so far. They made a big deal about the ACC as being the best team in the best conference in America, and they were going to have 10 teams in the tournament. They only have one left, North Carolina. They're the only team left in the big ACC to be playing. The Pac-12 has 3 teams. The Big 12 has 3
Who's
teams.
our 3? We got Arizona, UCLA, and Oregon.
Right.
There you go.
And then you got the SEC has 3. You got the Big 10 has 3. So people that bet the ACC was going to be the most dominant team or dominant conference have missed the boat.
Yeah, and then, of course, we've got the sports reporter, and Justin brings in the millennials. He brings in knowledge we don't have. Justin, welcome back to Coach's Corner. Did you get hurt? Did you get hurt by this March Madness thing too?
Oh, I was done by day one.
Yeah,
I get over it really fast.
He goes hard with the upsets, and he gets upset.
Now,
that's what happens.
You guys know I'm a duck, so any chance, Justin? Let me ask Justin because he's the most honest of the two of you. Any chance Oregon's got a shot to make this whole thing?
Yeah, of course they do. Anyone at this point, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyone.
It comes down to seeding to me. I mean, it's all matchups. You can get lucky and get to the Elite Eight if you have the right matchups. So. Yeah,
I agree.
Well, let me clear up the seed.
Clear it up, Coach.
There's only one 11 seed still remaining, Xavier. So if you're the Cinderella kind of guy and you want to predict somebody that's going to come from way back, Silky Sullivan, that's not going to happen because Xavier's the 11th seed. I don't think they're going to advance much further. There's one 8 seed left, Wisconsin. I think you might be able to throw a few ducats their way, and they might have a chance. And there's 2 7 seeds left, South Carolina and Michigan. And I think the country is taking up the Michigan flag. I mean, everybody thinks that because they won their tournament, their conference tournament, they're playing well right now. They're the underdog every time they go out. So I think Michigan would be the team if you want to throw a few ducats on it. That would be my advice would be to throw it down on the Wolverines.
Watch it with they're playing my Ducats Thursday night.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And they're favored by 1 point. It's a family show. It's called Coach's Corner on 1 p.m. on KHTS 1220 AM. You can listen on hometownstation.com. We have the best phone app in the country. Go to your app store and download KHTS 1220 AM. You can listen. And talking about who's listening is the mother. And I've seen this kid pitch since he's in the 6th grade. Big shout out to you, Mama. Your boy, Cody DeLaura. I'm predicting he's a freshman at Saugus. This kid's curveball.
Right-handed or left-handed?
He's left-handed.
Wow.
This kid's curveball, I know, left-handed. This kid's curveball breaks like 3 feet. You can't hit it.
You know what's good about being left-handed? You don't even have to be any good.
I know.
I mean, seriously.
I've got a camp
There's
for
guys that make millions of dollars in Major League Baseball that have a 500 record that are left-handed.
This kid was in my camp. At $5,000 a throw, you can get in the coach's camp.
Oh, my God.
I have a question about that.
Are you left-handed?
No, I'm not. I'm right-handed. And
sad.
But
sorry for you.
For the baseball guys, I'm not a huge baseball nerd or anything. I don't know a lot about baseball. Why does it seem that there are disproportionately more left-handed professional baseball players in proportion to the population, the U.S. population?
Well, first of all, then we'll let Coach Herrick go.
Because my son is left-handed. My oldest son is left-handed.
Well, first of all, you're closer to first base, right? So you've got 1 or 2 steps. And in Major League Baseball, that's big. You ever see the first base coaches? They've got the
but are you
stopwatch.
kidding me?
I'm not
The
done
pitcher's
yet.
closer to first base, so that's why.
No, I'm talking about the hitters now.
Well, are you okay? All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Thanks
Talk
for
about the hit.
interrupting.
I still don't.
But most batters are right-handed. So when the left-handed pitcher is like he's throwing at you, does that make sense? So that's one of the
But if that's why you send a left-handed hitter up there when there's a
Correct.
left-handed pitcher.
Correct.
That's all. That's the big argument in Major League Baseball today is that why the game is so slow because the managers make these adjustments when a guy comes up, he's right-handed, they put a left-hander in there, and vice versa, and it takes all this time the guy to warm up, and they're saying they're losing fans because of this time thing. The game's going for World Series game went on 5 hours. The Cubs beating the Indians, and that's not the way it was designed to go.
Look, you're a little younger than me. Let's get another millennial here, Kyle Jellings. I would like to speed it up a little bit. I think 2.5 hours is perfect. But I like the fact that baseball, you can sit back and relax. You can eat some popcorn, have a couple of hot dogs. I mean, don't we need something in our culture, in our life, where we can just enjoy and relax and not be uptight?
I'm in that camp where I don't think baseball needs to speed up. I think people need to slow down, to be perfectly honest. I think if you want to speed up the game, you need to do something drastic. I don't think that new 4-pitch, they threw away the 4-pitch walk thing. I think that was the dumbest thing that they could have done.
1 minute. 1 minute.
No, I think it was like 14 seconds a day, like of all games played in a day. It's like it's a ridiculous amount of time saved. So I think if you're going to try and change the game of baseball, I say do something crazy drastic to speed it up rather than I think people just need to slow down. I enjoy the game of baseball though, so I'm a little bit different.
Well, what about that new rule that they're proposing that when you go into extra innings, they put a guy on second base, you automatically on second base?
They do that in high school.
No, but they're doing that. They're proposing that Joe Torre, who's the director of rule changing for Major League Baseball's, who's a manager of the Yankees, very successful one, is suggesting that. I think that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. My problem is that it's a different sport then.
Yeah.
That's not the same
Yeah.
sport. You're giving a runner in scoring position? No. But Kyle and I have talked about, like, if you're wanting to do something crazy and drastic, make the game 7 innings.
Yeah, I say do something completely drastic if you want to speed up the game. Now, sponsors are not going to be a big fan of that because that leaves out.
Speaking of sponsors, this entire show is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, my favorite sandwich. I know it's your favorite sandwich,
like
and
the
soon to be
Mike's
your
way.
favorite sandwich,
Mike's
Kyle.
way. You got to go Mike's way.
Gotta
No,
go Mike's way.
Not for the coach. Too much oil.
Are you serious?
Yeah, too much oil, too much vinegar.
You're crazy,
No,
man.
I
Well,
like it.
You get the tumbleweed on rye sandwich, and we'll get the Mike's
Let me
way.
tell you what, you can't get a better sandwich than a Jersey Mike's. And we've got now 5.5 locations, 6 to be soon here in all of Southern California and Santa Clarita Valley. You listen to KHTS, the show on Monday. What do we call our show? Coach's Corner. So real quick, back to baseball, and then we'll get on to some other sports. Incidentally, I like swimming. I like bowling. I like yachting. What are some of the...
When was the
Yachting?
last time
I don't
you
think
went
that's a
yachting?
sport.
There's no yachting. That's a sport.
Yada, yada, yada. That's the only yada
Yeah, I
you
don't
do.
think.
Him and Coach and I, if you want to meet us, come to Starbucks tomorrow morning and have coffee with us. We get in a big argument every morning about what's a sport. Justin, golf is a sport. Yes or no?
Ooh.
Yes or no? Thank you.
I think there's variables with this, but go ahead, Justin.
Yes or no?
It either is or it isn't.
Yes. And the only reason why I'll say is because it requires a certain level of torque and velocity on your body when
There
you're
you
swinging a
go.
club.
There you go.
That's the reason why.
Bowling a sport, Justin?
No.
Bowling,
Bowling is a game.
Are you kidding me?
Bowling is a
That's
game.
a good. That's an activity or game.
Have you ever lifted a bowling ball?
Have you seen those pythons? Of course he has. He doesn't need to.
This is my criterion. I've told you this many times. If you can eat and drink alcohol in the middle of it, it's not a sport.
So with golf, I
not
think
a sport.
I think it's a sport if you don't use a cart, because I think at that point,
That's a great.
Yeah,
I think if
pro
you're walking,
golf,
that's
at
fine.
the pro level,
Yeah.
they guys have to walk 18 holes.
But I'm guessing, do you walk your 18?
Yes, I do.
No, you do.
You
Well,
are
sometimes
such a
I do.
liar.
I'm lying a little bit. 298-5487. 298-5487 on the show we call Coach's Corner on KHTS 1220 AM. Incidentally, I think you know this. This station won the Best Radio Station Community Award in the state of California.
We did?
You did.
Well,
You're the
we
general
did.
manager. Yeah, we did. We got callers, 298-5487, and we're waiting for a very special guest. a winning coach. You've won the CAF too, haven't you?
Twice.
Where's your
City
plaque?
section.
Can you bring it to coffee in the morning?
I'll show it to you.
Yeah, bring it.
You can go to Cleveland High School in Reseda, California, and
we have
go
a-
into the trophy case and see it right there. If you like.
We have a caller, Justin. All right, caller. It's called the Coach's Corner, and thank you. What's your question, or what do you want to say?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. My name is Cowboy. I live here in Santa Clarita. Great show.
Thank you, Cowboy.
Two things on the baseball that Justin, he asked about left-handed people in baseball. Why there are not that many. And the coach was trying to explain to him, but basically there's no lefty third baseman, there's no lefty shortstops, there's no lefty second basemen, and there's first baseman in the outfield, and there's no lefty catchers, and there's left-handed, like the coach said, pitchers that can make millions by throwing left-handed. But that's not my question. My question is, basketball coach, what do you think of what's happening with UCLA, and this guy Alford is looking to jump ship maybe and go to Indiana?
Well, I think he got a little disappointed last year when they didn't make the tournament, and he got harassed by everybody in the public. You know, the expectations at UCLA are outrageously high, and so you're doing your best. They brought in the top recruiting class in the country. Their recruiting class next year is the number 2 recruiting class in the country. We understand that 3 or 4 of those freshmen on this year's team are probably going to go in the NBA draft, so they're going to have to replace the whole team. But, as a coach, when people aren't grateful for the job that you do, sometimes it's better to just pack your bags and go somewhere else. If he takes the Indiana job, which is what they're talking about, he's a god in Indiana. I mean, he was one of the greatest players ever to play. He led him to the national championship. I mean, and to go there and be the coach where people wouldn't turn on him, for one bad season, I think that's a possibility.
Great. Cowboy, first of all, I love your nicknames. A great question. Thanks for calling in. Let me give you my 2 cents on it. He's going to go to Indiana for the money, and UCLA's it doesn't pay anybody. I mean, I'm shocked in football that Moore is still there, but Indiana's a legacy school just like UCLA is, and I hope he gets what he deserves. I agree with Coach Herrick that he's going to go there and become an institution. So great call, Cowboy. Call back in. Thanks for listening to the show called Coach's Corner on KHTS 1220 AM. We have another caller here on the we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back on the show we call Coach's Corner, KHTS 1220 AM. Don't forget, every Monday at 1 o'clock, you can call in too and give us your opinion. I thought that was a good call.
Yeah, very good. Cowboy's very knowledgeable about what's
very good call.
The ins and outs of college basketball.
He knew his stuff. Our show brought to you by Jersey Mike's, the best sandwich that you can possibly order anywhere. Jersey Mike's right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. We'll be right back.